All right, we've done an E minor chord and we've done an E major chord. E minor, the only difference between an E minor chord and an E major chord is found in the third, or in this case, a G natural, G note, G natural, moving to G sharp to make it major. And you can hear that. All right, and today what we want to look at is an E7 chord, a voicing of an E7 chord. We're actually going to look at two voicings of an E7 chord because they both fall pretty nice and neatly right underneath your fingers. So a 7 chord is a 4-note chord. In the case of an E major chord, the 3 notes in an E major chord are E, G sharp, and B. And we find those in this E chord duplicated. E, B, another E, G sharp, B, and another E. So we actually have 3 E's in that chord, 2 B's, and 1 lonely G sharp. All right. Now, when we want to make that chord a 7 chord, we have to add a D note. So we go E being the 1, root, G sharp the 3rd, B the 5th, and D would be the 7th of the chord. There are a couple of different places that we're going to look at adding that note. The first place is on string 4 as an open string. The note of D as an open string. So that sort of places this voicing right in the middle of the chord, this voice right in the middle of the chord, makes the chord sound like this. Right? I can sort of hear that D. But in that arrangement of the notes, it tends to get a little lost. You know, it's very commonly used voicing. But another possibility is to take that D instead and put it up here, an octave higher. That sort of, you can really hear it when it sits on top of the voicing like that, can't you? Right? So either or, you've got the E7 with the D in the middle, or you've got the E7 with this D on top. Now, if we were to look at the E7 chord as the 5 chord in a key, it would be the 5 chord in the key of A, B, C, D, E. And it's very common to play the 5 chord as a 4-note chord or as a 7th. So let's take a look at the resolution of an E7 chord moving to an A, because that's going to be very, very common. And then we'll take a look at the E7 chord also moving to an A minor, because that's really common too. So let's start with the E7 moving to an A. Now that sounds just like it should, right? A chord progression that you've probably heard maybe without knowing it thousands of times before. Right, 5 to 1. And same progression, but this time let's put that 7th on top. This time you're hearing that 7th sort of fall to that 3 of the A chord. Okay? Okay, and if I play past the 7th up to the top string, it's a little harder to hear, the inside voice, right? Let's do that again. And as I mentioned before, E7 to A minor. So an E7 chord, 4-note chord. The notes are E, G sharp, B, and D. The E7 chord will be the 5 chord in the key of A major, or it'll be the 5 chord in the key of A minor as well. Or it can be. It doesn't have to be, but it can be. There are other possibilities. The point that we're getting at here today and in teaching you these chords to begin with is we want to give you chord progressions that are really common and that you will be encountering in music, so that you're not just putting together random chords in random ways, but you're putting together the chords in ways that you are going to be encountering in music over and over and over again, just because that's the way music works. So the chord of E7 going to an A major chord, or the chord of E7 going to an A minor chord.